Okay, now we're going to look at the edit board options. Now first off, if you click here, you get a whole load of extra options, few of which are duplicates of the simple edit board option where you can change the background. So first off, I'm going to look at these outer grid elements. Now, as you can see, you've got grid position. Now this is the grid, the actual buttons. So if I move the position there and there, you can see it moving backwards and forwards and then up and down. So if you wanted it to be right up in the corner, you could have it at 0 and 0, and your buttons would start right up in the corner. But I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to have it at the general sort of positioning, like so. You can also add extra columns. Now this is relevant. This is a standard setup that you chose, so you've got board size and you see it's 800 by 600, which is what we chose when we created the board. Now you can change this board size, so if I change it, I change a different board size. So I've got the standard resolutions, but also options for different devices that I'll probably add more to over time. So if I click on Playbook, you can see it's changed the size of the actual board, and we don't have any buttons here, and we got it slightly over. Now you might want that, but in this case I don't, so I'm going to bring that up slightly. And then I'm going to add extra buttons along there. So as you can see, we've got more buttons along there, and we can move the clock maybe. If we just close that, move the clock to there, we go back to the main board. You see that's our main board now, so it's a different shape and size. Go back to the advanced editor now. Back to the board options. Now I'm going to work my way through the top and work my way down. So upload, very similar to what we had before. On the simple version, you can just upload any background that you've created, JPEG, GIF, PNG format. There is a limit to the size, but any normal size should be okay. So as long as it doesn't go, and also keeping the size down is beneficial for you because it means the actual page will load quicker. We've got to choose options as well, so we can choose solar system. Let me choose that one there, the moon. Go back to the cat, so a little selection there. Go back to the cat, and we can also take from another board all options which are available on the other, on the simple edit, which is in those tutorials. Now we've also got button cell size. Now each button, obviously this is a grid size of a certain size. So if I just change this. See, I'm making them much larger or much smaller. So if I wanted to, I could have hundreds of buttons across and down, so we could, and there's quite a few different options, all the way up to 300, down to 0, which would be a bit pointless, but you could do it anyway. So I'm probably going to keep it to roughly the size we had, which is 69. And we've got button size, the actual button size. So these little images within the buttons that we've created, now they're only a small size to that because they don't want to overlap or touch the outside. You might not want that. At the moment they're 80%, so you've got that area there, and then they're 80% size within that. So if I put it up to 100%, you'll see all of them at full size. So go back to our page, you see they're much bigger, right butting up against each other. Again, an option you might want, but in this case, I've got it set to, there you go, I'm going to set it down. I'm not going to have it as small as it was before, I'm just going to have it about there, I think. Yeah. Okay, open links in. So we now have self or new tab. Now the default is self, so when you click on a link, so for example, that cat's page, it will open in the same tab. But we can also change that option to have it open in a new tab. So when you click the link, it opens in a new tab, and you've still got the old tab open. I'm going to leave it at new tab. I think that means that you can always navigate back to your own page. Board size I've briefly looked at. Now background color. Now there's two ways in which to change the background color. The background color is the color outside of your square. So if I click on there, I can simply drag around this little color palette, and it will change it to whichever color is available. I've chosen here. So if I go to white, that's back to white. But we also got this as a color dropper. Now if I click on that, it brings up the actual size of the picture, and you can pick any colour which is within that. So if I picked this purple here, there you go, it's selected the purple and it's chosen that as a background. And that can be very useful for instance, if you want it to blend perfectly with the edges. So just as an example, I go to there, click on colour palette, pick there, and then it's seamless. So when you go to your actual site, there's no border. You can only know that there's a border because you've got the tabs, but if other people look at it, they won't have those. So let's go back to our cat, and I'm going to pick dark purple. I've seen pieces. I've actually picked black there. Let's go for a dark purple. There we go. We've also got two other options here called infinite pan. Now these are quite unusual in the way they work. So if I click on horizontal and go back to my page, the page has changed quite dramatically. Now you can see that there's like a kind of gradient at the edge here and here. And what this allows is an infinite pan, so you can have it constantly going all the way across like that, and also all the way back. This can be useful in several different ways. One, on a tablet, you can just quickly pull across, and if you've got a very long page, you can have it so you can quickly go to the end, but then rotate around back to the beginning. This also is slightly restricted because you can't do simple editing when you've got horizontal clicked on. But we go back to board, untick that, tick on vertical. Exactly the same scenario, but vertical. This will slow down the page loading a bit because it does actually have to duplicate these elements. So this is probably the most intense one where you've got vertical and horizontal. So you've got infinite pan all the way across. Now there are examples where this is used on other pages. Probably the best example, if you go to examples, is page 1, where I'm using it to create a game. In this case, I don't think the page really needs it, so I'm going to untick those. And then when we go back, it's just standard. And that's it for the board. Thank you.